Kyiv, the unyielding heart of Ukraine. Chapter 1: Ancient Origins. Kyiv's roots are woven deep within the tapestry of Eastern European history, touching both the realm of myth and the cradle of Slavic culture. The legend of its founding is as colorful as the rivers that cradle the city. In one tale, the brothers Kyiv and Koriv, alongside their sister Lebed, are said to have founded Kyiv. These siblings, explorers by nature, were believed to have been guided by their spiritual connection to the land. The hill they chose to settle upon overlooked the mighty Dnipro River, a vantage point that would become central to the city's growing power and influence.
This place, blessed by nature and revered by many, began its transformation into the heart of early East Slavic culture.
As centuries passed, this fledgling settlement took root as a vibrant center for trade. Merchant ships laden with goods from Byzantium drifted along the Dnipro, exchanging silk and spices for wax and honey. Kyiv's reputation as a hub of commerce was acknowledged far and wide, drawing merchants, diplomats, and adventurers alike. The bustling markets were a microcosm of cultural confluence, where languages intermingled and stories were passed down.
Kyiv was not merely a center for trade but a beacon for political dialogue and development. It was here that Slavic tribes convened to forge alliances and navigate conflicts. Leaders emerged, charismatic figures who negotiated peace and prosperity in equal measure.
In time, Kyiv would be recognized as more than just a trading post. It became a place where the threads of culture, politics, and spirituality were intricately woven together, creating a rich and enduring legacy. Chapter 2: The Kievan Rus. The dawn of the Kievan Rus heralded an era marked by grandeur and enlightenment. Kyiv rose to prominence as the capital of this medieval state, casting its influence over a landscape that stretched from the Baltic to the Black Sea. Vladimir the Great, one of its most notable rulers, envisioned a unified realm bound by shared faith and purpose.
It was under his reign that Kyiv entered its golden age, fueled by a blend of military prowess and astute diplomacy. Vladimir's decision to embrace Christianity in 988 was transformative. In the shadow of grand cathedrals being erected, Kyiv soon emerged as a spiritual center, its streets echoing with hymns and the scent of incense.
Byzantium became a key ally, sharing not just religion, but art, architecture, and intellectual exchange. This spiritual awakening laid the foundation for a cultural renaissance that would resonate through the ages. Yaroslav the Wise, Vladimir's successor, expanded Kyiv's influence further. His reign saw the construction of the majestic St. Sophia Cathedral, a testament to the city's architectural innovation and spiritual depth. Education thrived under Yaroslav, who established schools and gathered scholars, ensuring that knowledge and literacy spread throughout the realm. Despite the internal struggles and occasional intrigue that marred the royal courts, the Kievan Rus under Kyiv's aegis was one of medieval Europe's most formidable entities. The city's prosperity was matched only by its resilience. A city of deep cultural richness, Kyiv stood defiant and determined, even as the shadows of future adversities began to loom on the horizon. Chapter 3: Mongol Invasions and Decline. The 13th century brought with it the dark specter of the Mongol invasions. The Khans, with their sweeping cavalry and unyielding strategies, descended upon the vast plains of Eastern Europe. Their eyes were set on the jewels of the Kievan Rus, and Kyiv was no exception. The city, accustomed to elegance and prosperity, found itself teetering on the edge of ruin. In 1240, the Mongols, led by the formidable Batu Khan, laid siege to Kyiv. The roar of hooves echoed through the streets as the once proud city walls crumbled under the relentless assault. Fires raged, devouring timber and stone alike.
The populace, resilient though they were, faced devastation that threatened to unmake the fabric of their society.
Despite the ferocity of the Mongol advance, Kyiv's spirit was not easily quashed. Those who survived the onslaught began the patient work of rebuilding. They took to the ruins with determination, carving life anew from the ashes. Yet, Kyiv's role as a dominant power in the region was challenged. New centers of power emerged in the aftermath, shifting the delicate dance of alliances and rivalries.
The legacy of the Mongol invasion left Kyiv scarred but not defeated. The city found ways to adapt to the new reality, its people steadfastly clinging to their identity.
The stories of valor and resistance were passed down, reminding each generation of what had been lost and what yet remained. Beneath the surface of the raw and broken city, the heart of Kyiv still pulsed, waiting for the moment to rise again. Chapter 4: Under Lithuanian and Polish Rule. As the Mongol yoke began to loosen, Kyiv found itself swept into the currents of shifting geopolitical tides. The Grand Duchy of Lithuania, with aspirations for regional dominance, extended its influence over the region. By the mid-14th century, Kyiv was drawn into the embrace of the Lithuanian realm, exchanging one set of challenges for another.
Under Lithuanian rule, the city experienced a revival of sorts. The Lithuanians, unlike the Mongols, were inclined to integrate rather than conquer.
They recognized Kyiv's historical significance and sought to preserve some semblance of its former glory. The city attracted traders and settlers once more, this time as a melting pot of Lithuanian, Slavic, and other influences. This era also saw the penetration of Polish culture and governance. In 1569, the Union of Lublin bound Lithuania and Poland into the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, bringing Kyiv under a new umbrella of rule. The union facilitated a vibrant exchange of ideas and customs, with Kyiv serving as a testament to the dynamic cultural transformations taking place within its walls.
Where governance and politics were concerned, tensions frequently arose. The Polish influence introduced Catholicism to the predominantly Orthodox city, sparking religious friction that spilled into broader societal divides. The people of Kyiv, however, were adept at navigating these complexities. While strife and conflict bubbled beneath the surface, they embraced the opportunities for cultural exchange.
Throughout this period of Lithuanian and Polish rule, Kyiv retained an indomitable spirit, woven with the threads of resilience and adaptability. It was a time of change and continuity, of old traditions clashing with new ideas. Through it all, Kyiv's story endured, etching itself deeper into the annals of history, as the city prepared to encounter yet another chapter of its unyielding journey. Chapter 5: The Cossack State. The 17th century witnessed the rise of a new force that would redefine Kyiv's place in the world. The Cossacks, free-spirited warriors of the steppes, emerged as powerful defenders of Orthodox Christianity and champions of autonomy. At the heart of their struggle was Kyiv, a city resonating with their aspirations for independence and cultural revival. The relationship between Kyiv and the Cossacks was one of mutual influence. The city offered a bastion of learning, spirituality, and commerce, vital to the Cossack cause.
In return, the Cossacks provided the dynamic energy that breathed new life into Kyiv's streets. Under the leadership of figures like Bohdan Khmelnytsky, the Cossacks challenged the existing order, bringing together diverse groups under the banner of the Cossack Hetmanate.
Kyiv became a symbol of the Cossack women's pursuit of a distinct identity, intertwined with dreams of sovereignty and self-governance. The city flourished culturally, witnessing a revival in arts and literature. The Kyiv Mohyla Academy, founded in 1632, became a beacon of higher education, attracting scholars from across Europe.
Joy and suffering coexisted as the city's inhabitants navigated the complexities of existence amid political upheaval.
Kyiv during the Cossack era was a testament to the indomitable desire for freedom and cultural rebirth. It stood resilient, a torchbearer of traditions old and new, poised at the threshold of yet another transformative phase in its storied history. Chapter 6: Russian Empire and Soviet Era. The dawn of the Russian Empire's expansion saw Kyiv's transition into a new epoch as it became increasingly absorbed into the orbit of Imperial Russia. By 1654, following the Treaty of Pereyaslav, Kyiv found itself under the protective yet demanding embrace of the Tsars. The city's role fluctuated between marginalization and centrality, shaped by the whims of imperial ambition. Under Russian dominion, Kyiv's development was marked by both opportunity and suppression. The empire recognized the city's strategic importance and facilitated its industrialization during the 19th century. Factories sprang up alongside the Dnipro, drawing a diverse workforce that transformed Kyiv into a burgeoning urban center.
The skyline evolved as grand architectural projects began to redefine the city's appearance. However, the imperial influence often came with cultural repression. Russification policies sought to dilute Ukrainian language and heritage, fostering tension among Kyiv's residents.
The essence of Kyiv's cultural identity began to sour under the weight of assimilative pressures. Amidst these trials, the city's intellectual and artistic circles became hubs of resistance, committed to preserving their distinctive identity. The Soviet era brought further transformations. Kyiv's industrial prowess continued to grow, becoming central to the USSR's economic strategies. Broader social shifts were accompanied by efforts at ideological indoctrination.
During Stalin's reign, political purges and forced collectivization cast long shadows over daily life. Yet even during this era of severe repression, the voice of Kyiv remained resilient, whispering tales of resistance and cultural memory.
Amidst these sweeping changes, Kyiv stood as a testimony to human endurance and adaptability. It became an indomitable link between tradition and progress, poised to embrace the dawning horizon of Ukrainian sovereignty, as definite as any skyline. Chapter 7: Ukrainian Independence. The collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 marked the beginning of a new chapter for Kyiv and Ukraine. A tide of change rolled across the landscape as the city emerged as the capital of an independent nation, shedding its imposed affiliations for the first time in nearly a century. With this newfound freedom came a complex array of challenges and opportunities. Kyiv became the epicenter of a blossoming national identity. Residents and leaders, invigorated by the spirit of independence, sought to rebalance the cultural, social, and economic structures that had been imposed for generations.
Political debates filled the air, echoing through the corridors of government buildings and vibrant city squares.
As a capital, Kyiv embraced its role as the heart of Ukraine. It became a focal point for the articulation of democratic ideals and aspirations, witnessing impassioned movements that sought to anchor the state in principles of governance, transparency, and justice. The spirit of the city resonated with echoes of past resistance, offering the hope of a future free from external imposition.
The journey to solidify independent Ukraine was seldom straightforward. Economic hardships, political instability, and internal dissent tested the resilience of the city's inhabitants.
But where there were challenges, there was also an inspiring commitment to forge a new path forward. Kyiv's streets hosted public forums, art installations, and cultural festivals that celebrated the pluralism of Ukrainian identity. Chapter 8: The Orange Revolution. In the chill of late 2004, Kyiv found itself at the epicenter of a movement which would alter the course of Ukrainian history. The Orange Revolution emerged, fueled by discontent over electoral corruption and a burning desire for democratic reform. The city's Maidan Nezalezhnosti became a pulsating nerve center for those who demanded a voice in the shaping of their nation. The protests were sparked by the controversial presidential election results that favored Viktor Yanukovych, a candidate deeply connected with the establishment regarded by many as a bastion of oppression.
Opposition leader Viktor Yushchenko, who campaigned on promises of transparency and reform, inspired hope among weary citizens. The Maidan thronged with people from across Ukraine, cloaked in orange scarves and banners which symbolized their cause.
In the heart of Kyiv, the protesters stood resolute, united in their demand for truth and liberty. Their spirit was mirrored by music and art, transforming the city into a vibrant tapestry of peaceful defiance. Tent cities sprang up adorned with messages of solidarity and resistance. The protesters braved bitter cold, swirling rumors and looming threats, maintaining their commitment to a peaceful struggle.
Amidst this backdrop, negotiations and legal interventions ensued. The eyes of the world turned to Kyiv as European and international efforts sought to address the crisis.
It was a moment of profound tension and opportunity. The Orange Revolution culminated in a rerun of the election, one which saw Yushchenko emerge victorious. Though his presidency would face its own tribulations, the movement's impact was undeniable. The resolute spirit of Kyiv had inspired a nation and offered a testament to the enduring human spirit.
The city had once again proven that its heart, unyielding and hopeful, could instigate transformative change, heralding possibility even amidst the storm.
Chapter 9: Euromaidan and the Revolution of Dignity. In November 2013, Kyiv's Maidan Nezalezhnosti once again became the crucible of aspiration and resistance. The Euromaidan movement ignited when President Yanukovych suspended talks with the European Union, choosing instead to pursue closer ties with Russia. For many Ukrainians, this decision symbolized a betrayal of hopes for integration with Europe and democratic ideals. The protests began with students peacefully gathering, a flickering flame of defiance against regression.
Yet, as winter tightened its grip, the protests grew, fueled by images of police brutality and the government's heavy-handed response.
Citizens from all walks of life descended upon the Maidan, their collective resolve transforming Kyiv into a battleground for dignity and independence. Through the biting cold and mounting unrest, the protesters remained resolute. Makeshift barricades and encampments lined the square, drawing sustenance from the solidarity of those who dared to dream of a Ukraine unshackled by corruption and authoritarianism.
Kyiv became a symphony of resistance, reverberating with passionate speeches, stirring ballads, and the indomitable courage of its people.
The struggle reached its zenith in February 2014, as clashes between protesters and government forces resulted in shocking violence and loss of life. Blood stained the cobblestones of Kyiv, yet each sacrifice only deepened the collective resolve. International observers watched closely as Ukrainian hearts, galvanized by the extraordinary courage and sacrifices of those who took a stand, chose a new path. The government fell and Yanukovych fled.
Kyiv emerged as the emblem of unyielding defiance, its people having fought for the dignity and sovereignty they were determined to reclaim. Where smoke once drifted over Maidan, the air cleared, revealing a city, no, a nation, awakened and transformed.
Chapter 10: Russian annexation of Crimea and Eastern conflict. Following the Euromaidan protests and the political upheaval in Kyiv, tensions between Ukraine and Russia escalated. On the international stage, a new crisis emerged. In March 2014, Russian forces annexed Crimea, a move widely condemned by Ukraine and the West. This act further inflamed regional tensions, plunging Ukraine into an era marked by uncertainty and conflict. Kyiv found itself as both diplomat and distant witness to unfolding events. Its leadership sought global support, navigating complex international relations to maintain Ukraine's sovereignty. Diplomatic corridors echoed the voices of leaders and negotiators striving vehemently to expose the annexation's illegitimacy and secure steadfast alliances.
Meanwhile, in eastern Ukraine, a separatist war brewed. Pro-Russian insurgencies in Donetsk and Luhansk prompted a military conflict between Ukrainian forces and separatist groups. The city of Kyiv directed its energies to staunch defense and strategic resilience.
Amidst these struggles, Kyiv's role as the pulse of the nation proved pivotal. On the home front, the war designated new priorities and hardships. Economic instability and the plight of displaced Ukrainians revealed stark realities that demanded urgent attention. Yet even amid the restless nights and endless news cycles, Kyivan spirit endured. International allies rallied around Kyiv, acknowledging its determined stand. Support, though at times fraught with politics, arrived in diverse forms, from economic aid packages to diplomatic backing in forums where Ukraine's voice persevered.
Amidst these trials, Kyiv worked to shield its cultural vibrancy, endeavoring to foster unity and resilience within the country's soul. The annexation and ensuing conflict represented yet another challenge in a long history of defiance.
As diplomats, soldiers, and citizens shared a singular goal of a peaceful, united Ukraine, Kyiv reaffirmed its role as the heart of the nation's hope, a steadfast reminder of sovereignty's inestimable worth amidst the swirling complexity of global events. Chapter 11: The 2022 Russian Invasion. As dawn broke on February 24, 2022, Kyiv found itself inexorably drawn into a new chapter of conflict. Russian military forces launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, casting ominous shadows across the capital city and igniting fears of a brutal struggle. This escalation, unprecedented in the modern era, threatened to grip Kyiv in a storm of violence and disarray. Against the backdrop of this aggression, Kyiv emerged as a symbol of resilience and defiance. The city's strategic importance was undeniable, its streets and architecture bearing witness to a fierce determination to resist at all costs.
Civilians, too, embraced their role in the unfolding drama, joining the defense efforts and shoring up the past with hopes of salvation. The stories of Kyiv's citizens, unfurling amidst the chaos of bombing raids and military maneuvers, spoke to an unyielding resolve.
Tales of volunteers converting homes into shelters, communities organizing vital aid, and neighbors standing together echoed through the alleys and boulevards of the city. Kyiv became a crucible for human courage, its heart beating in rhythm with the enduring spirit of its people. Beyond entrenchments and barricades, the corridors of power buzzed with activity, as Kyiv's leaders coordinated defensive strategies, diplomatic channels, and international appeals.
Global attention honed in on Ukraine, with governments, NGOs, and concerned citizens lending support in myriad forms, from military aid to humanitarian assistance.
For Kyiv, the stakes were existential, not just as a city, but as the heartbeat of Ukrainian sovereignty. However, with each passing moment forged amidst desperation and solidarity, an inspiring testament took shape. History hung in the balance, and gripping uncertainty flavored even the most mundane of tasks. Yet through it all, Kyiv stood proud, poised to write a fresh chapter for itself if only the world would watch and bear witness. Chapter 12: The Unyielding Heart. Kyiv stands as the living embodiment of Ukrainian sovereignty and identity. At each turn of history, the city has met the call of its time, striking a delicate balance between embracing change and holding fast to deeply cherished traditions.
From the Slavic legends of its founding to the searing struggles of modern conflict, the city endures as a reflection of the nation it so fiercely represents.
Today, Kyiv embodies not just a geopolitical reality, but an enduring legacy forged through the fires of the past, and tempered by hope for the future. Its streets, squares, and sanctuaries are imbued with memories, each scar a testament to resilience, each step forward an act of defiance against forces that would deny its freedom.
The city's panoply of voices recount tales of persistence and unity, painting pictures of survival amidst overwhelming odds. Here lies the pulse of Ukraine, echoing folklore interspersed with modern anthems, a testament to a people who never yield, come what may.
The grand cathedrals, vibrant neighborhoods, and bustling markets merge seamlessly with the stories of past and future alike, offering a rich cultural tapestry. The unyielding heart of Kyiv beats with a resolve that defies external impositions, whispering to those who will listen a profound truth, that in a world ever-changing, where lines and alliances shift like sand, there will always be hope if one tends to the fire in their heart.
Kyiv's story is not merely a narrative of resistance, it is a beacon forged through countless struggles, a clarion call to stand defiant in the face of arms, to cling unwaveringly to the light of humanity and hope.